When I examine Japan's growing confrontation with China, what stands out is how profoundly Tokyo has misjudged the geo-economic balance of power. Japan is not dealing with a regional competitor it can pressure or deter through diplomatic maneuvering. It is dealing with the world's largest manufacturing base, the central hub of global supply chain, and the dominant producer of essential industrial materials. In strategic terms, Japan has positioned itself at the fault line between a declining hegemon, the United States, and a rising peer competitor, China. This would already be a precarious position for any state, but Japan's choice to adopt a more assertive posture toward China, particularly regarding Taiwan, represents a miscalculation that undermines both its economic stability and its long-term security. China now wields enormous leverage over Japan's economic structure, and this leverage is not abstract. It is rooted in supply chains, market access, and critical resource dependencies, rare earth elements, graphite, gallium, and other minerals essential for semiconductors, electric vehicles, and advanced manufacturing are overwhelmingly controlled by Beijing. Japan cannot sustain its technological capabilities without these. The idea that Tokyo could provoke Beijing without facing economic retaliation reflects a fundamental misunderstanding of modern geoeconomics. In a world where industrial capacity determines strategic power, China holds the upper hand. When Beijing hints at restrictions on travel, consumer boycotts, or export controls, it is not engaging in symbolic pressure. It is signaling that Japan's vulnerabilities are real and exploitable. The tourism dimension is also revealing. Over the past decade, Japan's service sector has become increasingly dependent on Chinese visitors, who account for the largest share of inbound tourism revenue. This dependence transformed tourism into a geoeconomic tool. When China warns its citizens against visiting Japan, Tokyo feels the impact almost immediately, especially in urban centers where hospitality and retail industries rely heavily on Chinese consumption. The fact that a single diplomatic misstep can trigger such economic disruption shows how deeply integrated Japan has become into China's consumer ecosystem. Economic power in the 21st century is no longer simply a matter of GDP or export volumes. It is about the ability to shape another state's internal stability through controlled asymmetries. Japan's miscalculation also stems from its over-reliance on the United States. For security guarantees, Washington maintains a one-China policy and avoids direct commitments regarding Taiwan's independence. Japan, by contrast, has taken rhetorical positions that exceed what its principal ally is prepared to enforce. This creates strategic incoherence by signaling that it may act in a Taiwan contingency while relying on an ally that remains deliberately ambiguous. Japan exposes itself to retaliation without possessing the military or economic means to defend its stance.